Every parent worries about their child, their health and well-being. This is not surprising because crime in the world is growing every day. Maniacs and murderers can be among those you would not even think of. But what if it's not just living people you need to be afraid of, but dead people as well? Before you continue watching the video, subscribe to our channel to not miss interesting and informative releases. And click on the bell to receive notifications about new videos, allowing you to be the first to know about fresh materials. Your comments and feedback are important to us. They help us improve our content and make it more interesting and relevant. Subscribe and continue your journey into the world of paranormal and mythical creatures. We wish you an enjoyable viewing experience. Demon named Bagul. Many became interested after watching the movie Sinister, because there this creature appeared as an anti-hero, instilling fear and forcing young children to do terrible things. After the demon received the soul of such a child and took him into his retinue. But what does mythology say about such a creature as Bagul? Is it a demon or a deity? And is this really what ancient people called him? Bagul in the movie Sinister. First, let's get to know Bagul from the horror movie better. According to the legend voiced by one of the characters, a professor of occult sciences, Bagul is a demon. Mythology states that children were sacrificed to him. This ancient rite was characteristic of the Scandinavian peoples, but manifest themselves mystical creature began in the United States, and from about 60 IES of the last century. Every few years, under strange circumstances in one of the states, killed a family. At the same time, each time found the bodies of all its members, except for one child. The disappearance was investigated, but neither the body nor the boy or girl was found. Likewise, the murderer could not be found. The press stopped writing about the incident, police reports dusted in the precincts, and a few years later everything happened again. What does demonology say? The field of knowledge that studies evil spirits claims that the Norse demon Bughuul is just a fiction of Hollywood filmmakers. In fact, no religion has ever known creatures with such a name. None of the sources Bughuul is not mentioned, although the demons and gods to whom children were sacrificed so that they could satiate their souls existed. Thus, the Aztec culture may have committed brutal acts of child abuse. In the last century, a burial site was discovered that prompted researchers to draw such inferences. It contained the remains of 42 children. According to some signs, experts have concluded that this is a ritual murder. Perhaps the sacrifices were intended for the ancient god Tlalocu, the patron saint of rain, able to give fertility. The Carthaginians also gave the souls of their babies to the gods to help them succeed in trade and other endeavors. This assumption was made by scientists after the remains of 200 boys and girls were found. According to Plutarch's records, children from wealthy families, as well as the only heirs, were especially valued by the gods. Moloch is the prototype of Bagul, so in ancient cultures sometimes there were sacrifices of children. But the cases described above indicate that people did it to placate the gods. But what about demons? How did these creatures manifest themselves in the fantasy of the creators of the movie Sinister? Let's try to figure it out. In the movie, Bagul is a demon who takes the souls of children. Perhaps his prototype could be Moloch, the Moabite deity mentioned in the Bible. The rite of sacrifice was truly terrible. A child was placed in the hands of the statue of Moloch. He was depicted as a man with a bull's head, and a fire was built below. The screams of the child were drowned out by ritual chants. Moloch is sometimes called not just a deity, but a demon. However, some researchers tend to assume that this mythical character never really existed. In general, child sacrifices were rare among ancient peoples, and the word Moloch, found in scientific treatises of those times, could only reflect the term of transferring the soul of a baby to a deity. Bagul and the children in the movie Sinister. Let's go back to the famous horror movie. In it, children fell into the clutches of Bagul only after committing terrible crimes. In fact, it was they who killed members of their families and then went to the demon in the service. After that, the task of these little black souls was to recruit new minions of Bagul. The dead children came into contact with the living ones, the ones who were about to kill their relatives, and convinced them that it was necessary to do so. Bughuul himself remained in the shadows for the time being. Perhaps he was afraid of frightening his future victim. The children of the retinue were afraid of Bughuul. "He will come, he will be displeased," they would sometimes say, before disappearing in terror into the dark corners of the house. Why the demon scared the already dead children to death, unfortunately, it is unclear, as this moment remained in the movie behind the scenes. What's so scary about Bughuul? This Scandinavian demon, again, as the movie claims, was forgotten by humans for many centuries. Perhaps he hunted somewhere in the wilderness and then something brought him to the United States of America. As a monster from Hollywood horror movies, he can hardly be recognized as the scariest. He doesn't actually appear in public, remains aloof and barely participates in what's going on. Moreover, he does not even suddenly jump out of the corner with a scream and does not make scary faces. But as an archetype, Bughuul symbolizes inevitable heavy loss. He takes away first the mind of a loved one, a small child, and then the soul, and for an appetizer to him remains a few more human lives. Through all of the above, a biography and portrait of the true Bughuul can be drawn up. Bughuul was the Babylonian brother of Moloch, a Canaanite deity who liked to sacrifice children. He dwelt in the afterlife, which, according to early Christians, could be accessed through images. One day, Bughuul copied Moloch's custom of child sacrifice and took the children away at night to consume their souls. Enraged by the religious plagiarism, Moloch sewed Bughuul's mouth shut. From then on, Bughuul became a terrifying entity that forced children to sacrifice their families in a multitude of grotesque ways before sending them to the underworld. There, he would slowly consume their corrupted souls. However, he would punish any child who did not kill their family by quickly destroying them. He would then target the next family who would move into the home of the family that was sacrificed. However, he would only take the next step if that family moved to another residence, due to the persecution of Bughuul and his cursed accomplices. Although no character explicitly worships Bughuul as a deity, Professor Jonas testifies to historical practices such as blood sacrifices and the mass eating of children, all in the name of Bughuul. This is contrary to the principle of Bughuul's action, which gives the child full discretion to commit such acts. On the same page where the Bughuul symbol is shown, there are references to Baal and Tlaloc, two pagan deities. Baal was revered by Semito-Levantine peoples and is seen as a demon in Judaism and Christianity. In Aztec mythology, Tlaloc was considered a benevolent fertility god, but required the sacrifice of children and their hearts in exchange for rain and crops. Appearance: Bughuul is a tall, nightmarish humanoid creature in the shape of a human with pale skin and long black hair. His most distinguishing features are his lack of eyes and mouth. It is explained that his mouth was forcibly sewn shut by his brother Moloch in retaliation for Bughuul imitating his sacrificial rituals. Personality: due to the lack of a mouth, Bughuul's voice is never heard, preventing a deeper understanding of his personality. However, his legacy of corrupting and consuming the souls of many children shows his voracious and sadistic nature. In addition, Bughuul and Moloch have a strong sibling rivalry. This is exemplified by the reversal of roles in their human sacrifice rituals. For the sake of Moloch, a parent sacrifices a child. For the sake of Bughuul, the child sacrifices their parents and any other siblings they have. If it was interesting, subscribe to our channel, give it a like, share this video with your friends, and write in the comments which character you want to hear more about. And remember, Bughuul is a child-eating demon who didn't really exist. But that doesn't make this creature any less frightening. And to be sure, we advise you to watch the movies Sinister and Sinister 2. Write in the comments about your impressions after watching the movie. See you soon.